How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. We got a lot to get into here today. The WWE Stomping Grounds show coming to Tacoma, Washington on Sunday. My hometown. Actually, it's not my hometown, but it's close. Tacoma, Washington, about 40 minutes from my house. I will be there. All my friends will be there. We may be the only ones there. Not looking good for attendance, but we'll talk about the card here today. A lot of matches on the show. A lot of matches announced. New championship matches announced today. We could tell you about those. Raw ratings from Monday night. This was the show that went against nothing. A show last week went up against the NBA Finals. And this year, 2.24 million viewers for the show. We'll talk about all of the ratings for the event here in a moment. Not great. Not horrible. Show was up from last week, but we'll give you all the details here today. Fyter Fest update. We've got some notes on Steve Austin's podcast with Tony Khan, which you can check out. Steve Austin's podcast is back. And at WWE also, a couple of big things for them. They've got their own category in the ESPYs. Not quite an Emmy, but they've got their own category in the ESPYs. We could talk about that category. Plus, they've got a new film that is coming up in partnership with Netflix that several wrestlers are going to be a part of. So all of this news and more to talk about here today. If you want to give us a call, 844-411-5411 is the phone number. We are back here in our normal studio, so call that number today, 844-411-5411. And as always, you can send your text messages to 425-780-7566. Mike Sempervive is going to join us today, as always. He held down the fort yesterday. And Session Moth Martinez will be joining us in the final segment of the show. So we got a lot to get into here today, and we are going to kick it off after the break. Stick around, Wrestling Observer Live. Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Lots to talk about here today. This person here, WWE is getting its own category in the ESPYs this year. ESPN revealed the nominees opened up fan voting for the awards today. There is a WWE-specific category for the first time ever, with 4 nominees vying for the Best WWE Moment of the Year award. The nominees are: Roman Reigns returns to Raw and announces that his leukemia is in remission. Becky Lynch beats Ronda and Charlotte to win the Raw and SmackDown women's titles in the main event of Mania. Kofi Kingston defeats Daniel Bryan to win the WWE title. And Ronda Rousey defeats Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam to win her first title in pro wrestling. I can't imagine it being that one. But Ronda Rousey's involved. It's the ESPYs, so I guess it's possible. But, I mean, this whole thing's preposterous, but like if you're going to really vote for which one's the best, it's definitely Roman Reigns returning and announcing that he's not going to die. I mean, how could you not vote for that one? So, I guess we'll see. There's a Best MMA Fighter category for the first time. All sorts of individuals, Daniel Cormier, Amanda Nunes, Henry Cejudo, and Israel Adesanya, all nominated for the award. And it's coming up July 10th. Well, they're live on ABC. So, yes, WWE is going to get some coverage on ABC coming up in July, unless it's one of those awards that they just announce, to the media backstage and don't
they give off air. It's like the Emmy Award for like the best like country folk album or something like that, the best indigenous hip hop album or something like that. That's going to be regulated to that. It will be on the red carpet on ABC.com or something like that.
Well, all I know is it's not an ESPN. It's not there's not an Emmy. They're still working hard for that Emmy.
Yes,
I don't know how they're not going to get it. Watching that Smackdown show last night, I mean, man. Actually, to be fair, SmackDown was way better than Raw. There were some things on the show that I really liked, but how do you give this show an Emmy for anything? And someone else, by the way, brought this up in a text message, and I've been thinking about it. I'm glad someone else noticed it. This person here says, who turned the stipulation modifier in the WWE creative team this week? We got 4 or 5 either elimination style or 2 out of 3 fall matches on Raw and SmackDown all week. You're right. What in the heck is going on? Every show, they're just randomly announcing 15 stipulations for every match, and I don't even know why.
Spice it up, pal.
I mean, I get that you got to put over both champions in the main event of SmackDown last night, but, I mean, did you have to? I mean, I just don't... There were so many weird stipulations over the last couple of days.
Don't the old bookers kind of claim once you start getting into that and you start doing these things over and over and over again, it's a lack of depth in your thinking. It's a lack of content and creativity that you're coming up with when you end up relying on these types of things that don't ultimately really mean anything long term too. I mean, okay, great. The Kofi and Seth won 2 quick falls. And it's like nothing. This isn't going to matter next week. It's not going to matter the week after. Very little of it does. So once you do it, it's just hot shouting. And what does any of it really mean?
I don't mean to be a jerk, but this person goes, thoughts on the new 24/7 champion Drake Maverick. Who else do you think would help carry this division in an entertaining way? There is no division. It's just some stupid things they do on every show. I don't care what anyone
Crash
says.
Holly, R.I.P.
The stuff that they did with the 24/7, the hardcore title in 2000 was so much better than this stuff today. Like go back and watch the Raw show from 19 years ago this week. It blows away this dumb stuff they're doing with the 24/7 title. It doesn't matter. It's not helping ratings. I mean, I know some people are entertained by it, but it's just there is no division. There's nothing. It's just something to do.
Well, it's entertaining in a vacuum, and Ron Killings is fantastic. Drake Maverick's comedic timing has always been fantastic. I mean, it's fine. On a 3-hour show, it's got a place. On 24 online, it definitely has a place with all of their content and videos that they produce. They're fine. To talk about the belt as if it's like something that, of value that matters to the show or is going to help turn the show around or is going to be a focal part of the promotion it kind of shows you where they're at right now, when that belt means more than, frankly, almost their world championship does.
All right, so here is the lineup for this show in Tacoma, for those of you that want to go to Tacoma. This person here noted that Daniel Bryan has been added to the card. This has to help ticket sales, right? This person says. Well, I mean, maybe, but if you weren't going to this show before, I'm not sure the addition of Daniel Bryan in a tag match against Heavy Machinery is going to do it for you. Maybe it will. I don't know. I know that they were offering 2 for $20 in tickets. So, if you weren't going when they offered 2 tickets for $20, I'm not sure this is going to make that big a difference. We got Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin, and the whole stipulation is there will be a special referee that tries to help Baron Corbin and screw Seth Rollins. That's like the stipulation to get you to buy this show. We got Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler in a steel cage match. Becky versus Lacey Evans again. Bayley versus Alexa for the SmackDown title. Roman versus Drew. Samoa Joe versus Ricochet for the U.S. title, which should be great. We got Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus Heavy Machinery, which, listen, I want to see that match, but if I'm not going to the show, that match is not going to get me to go to the show. New Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and Tony Nese versus Akira Tozawa and Drew Gulak in a triple threat match for the Cruiserweight title. That's your lineup for Tacoma. If you're in the Seattle area, I want to know if you're going. Text me. I want to know who's going to be there. Or give us a call.
They don't really need to text you. They can just wait until you guys are all there on Sunday, and they can just call over from, over
I want to know who's going.
You'll see them all. You can count it yourself.
I want to know in advance who's going, Mike. Are you listening to me?
Well, that's true. With not a lot of people there, they can take a clear shot at you.
Let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Brian. It's Nick in Vermont. How you doing today?
What's up?
Well, firstly, I wanted to call in and apologize. I was the numbskull who sent the Billy K letter in last week.
Oh.
I apologize for mishearing.
You're forgiven.
To get that out the way. Secondly, Death of WCW. Just finished the audiobook. Loved it.
Thank you. I worked really hard on it. Took years off my life.
I got the revamped version. I wanted to call in about Stomping Ground. Is this the most lackluster pay-per-view in recent memory as far as ticket sales and all that go? Because I look at the card, and it's like you guys say every day, it doesn't do anything. We've seen these matches how many times? And
well, I want to
get your thoughts on that.
I want to thank you for the call. Your phone is horrible, but as far as ticket sales, I don't know the last WWE pay-per-view that did ticket sales this poorly. If the next month's show does horribly, then we got something here. If next month's show does fine with a better card, then there's really nothing to worry about. I mean, there's not anything to worry about, really. But, I mean, they've done a lot of pay-per-views of late that have done great business. This one, right now, appears to be an aberration. I mean, there's a lot of things going on. It's Tacoma. Tacoma sucks. I mean that in the nicest way possible. It's the Tacoma Dome. The Key Arena is shut down for renovation in Seattle. I mean, nobody wants to go to Tacoma if you live around here. The card is awful. It's a wretched card. I mean, it's a wretched card. Like, it's so bad. So, hopefully, like, they do another pay-per-view next month and the card's better and it's in a better city and people show up. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. It's just bad. I mean, there have been bad cards before, but this is like a perfect storm of bad card, bad town, bad everything.
Is there going to be bad weather on Sunday, too?
I think there is going to be. I think it is going to rain.
Oh, man.
But, I mean, that should make you want to go inside, not stay outside. This should be better for the show if it rains.
Yeah, but if you've been watching this and feel as though you need a cleansing, maybe you're better to stand outside in the rain and not spend your money to go in and further be sickened.
Person says, do you think the building will be so empty on Sunday you'll hear an echo? That is possible, especially if they move everybody to one side of the building, and so everybody's cheering into a concrete wall. You will hear echo if that happens. Let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's going on? Hey, buddy, going once. Going twice. Epic fail. He's off the air. We don't have time to go to another one. I'll do it after the break. So I'll read one of these text messages here to everybody. This person here says, I appreciate how they tried to spice up the tag team matches this week with different kinds of wacky stipulations. Too bad the shows are still just as stale as before. Listen, you gotta spice things up by having things make sense, by having a reason for what you're doing. You don't just randomly announce best of 3 falls. Why is it a best of 3 falls match? They didn't even tell us. They just were like, here's what it's going to be. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Raw on Monday, up only 5.2% from last week's show that went against the NBA Finals, doing 2.24 million viewers. One would have hoped, Dave says, for at least a 10% bounce back when you eliminate a game that did 18.22 million viewers from competition. This looks to be the new level for Raw in the summer with no major sports competition. Show down 23% from the same week last year, although that was also helped by doing the day after Money in the Bank. Good news is, third hour drop from the first hour was only 10.6%, well under the usual level. So the people who were there at the start stuck with it for the Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins match at a better clip than usual. What is my child doing out there? I'm going to have to go deal with this in a second.
Being a child?
So 8 p.m., 2.33 million viewers. 9 p.m., 2.30 million viewers. 10 p.m., 2.08 million viewers.
Want me to jump on this?
Yeah, what do you make of these ratings? I'll be right back. Hold on.
Well, I think if you're looking for a number to spin tonight, last week, SmackDown retained a lot of Raw's audience because of how poor Raw's audience was. So if you're looking for a number to spin tonight, you may want to look in that direction because I would assume SmackDown did just about the same. Hopefully this child is okay, not running up and down.
Oh, my God, this child's out of her mind.
What is she doing?
She's just jumping on the bed and being crazy, but it's the room right next door to this one, so.
Okay, who's watching her?
My wife.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was like free-range children time in your house, okay?
Are you kidding me? Let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's going on?
Hi, guys. How's it going?
What's up?
So something was really bothering me about these 2 stipulation matches at Stomping Grounds.
What the heck is going on with the phones today? Go ahead.
Oh, can you not hear me that well?
Nah, it's just every phone line is bad.
So the cage match, I think, is just an outdated concept. If they did it once a year, it would be okay, but they do it all the time, and now it just feels like a normal no DQ match. But the special guest referee, I don't really understand, because there's 2 ways to do a special guest referee. The first is you get like a badass in there to kind of keep order in the match, like Ken Shamrock or Mick Foley or whatever, like the famous special guest referees, Mike Tyson. And then the other way is when a heel has it, then the heel uses another heel to be the special guest referee, and he uses it to screw the babyface. But I can't remember the last time that actually happened. It's usually like the 2 heels screw up and the babyface ends up winning. And I just feel like it would be, as much as I don't want to see Baron Corbin as champion, I don't want to see. I would like.
All right, I got the gist of it. I got to let you go. These phones are driving me nuts. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully, this may cause a problem with our interview later. But so first off, yes, you should get a big badass to referee because something went wrong with your normal referees. That's perfectly logical. But what's happening right now is they are asking you to pay, whether that be to buy tickets or to watch on the WWE Network. They are asking you to pay to find out who the heel is going to bring to screw your favorite. Do you realize how dumb this is? Like, it's preposterous. So, yeah, there's that. And the other thing I wanted to mention, because I watched SmackDown last night after watching Raw, and I noticed this on Raw, and I also noticed this on SmackDown. I'm the first guy who is going to complain when WWE does this incessant heat deal, where all the heels just beat the baby faces like a drum, okay? With that said, there is a pay-per-view on Sunday, and on the go-home show for Raw and SmackDown, there was, like, no heat, except for Baron Corbin hitting Seth Rollins at the end of the show, which, by the way, led to nothing because Seth was fine on Tuesday. In every single instance, the baby faces stood tall. Like, there might have been one that I missed. I guess maybe Alexa laid out Bayley or whatever, but, I mean, up and down the show, it was just baby faces going over, baby faces going over, baby faces going over. What am I paying for here? Like, I saw the baby faces go over. So, there obviously there is a need in pro wrestling for some heat, and usually it's on the go-home show to build to a happy ending on the pay-per-view. All of the happy endings took place on Raw and SmackDown, so I am concerned, and this would just be classic. I'm going to a show in Tacoma and every heel's winning, like up and down the show, including Baron Corbin. I would not be the least bit surprised if that happened.
Who do you think the referee is?
Who cares?
Well,
honestly, I don't care. That's the point. They've done nothing to make me care.
I guess they are leaving. I guess they want to give the impression that they are leaving the back door open for Brock Lesnar to be that person. Do you think that they deliver on Paul's tease?
Brock Lesnar's coming to Tacoma?
Brian,
no.
I'm just saying, do you think there are people that are trying to believe that? Do you think that's what they're trying to sell, even though they haven't really directly said that? I guess they have, though, with Paul Heyman, constantly hinting that you never know when Brock could show up.
Yeah, but this is another thing. Like, why would Brock need to be the referee? He's got the briefcase. Just wait till someone loses and then cash in.
Because, as the caller said, usually when you're doing that to stack the odds against the champion to take that title from him or to damage him. Now, much like the caller also said, it usually ends up where the two heels clonk their heads together like the Three Stooges, and somebody slips on the banana peel and the champion gets the win, which is completely ridiculous, but that's what they usually consistently do. So, none of this is working right now. The specter of that doesn't work. The specter of Baron Corbin winning the WWE Championship or the Universal Championship, that doesn't work. And if Seth wins, it's like, well, Baron's been beaten kind of by everybody, hasn't he? He's certainly been beaten by Kofi. Who else has he been beaten by in the last couple of weeks? So, yeah, I mean, technically he's got a win over Seth Rollins, but who actually remembers that?
Let's go to the phones. You are on the air. What is going on?
Bryan.
Yeah.
What makes you think that having a bunch of writers watch old Raw is going to change anything?
Okay, I got to let you go. I got the gist of it. I got to figure out these phones. Mike, have you been watching the old 24/7 stuff?
Well, I've been watching the Mid-Atlantic drop, to be honest with you.
All right. Well, I'm going to unplug something right here, so tell me what you think about the 24/7 title.
About the 24/7 title. Well, I know you don't like it as much as Crash Holly running around with the title from way back, the hardcore title. And yeah, that was different, and it was new at the time they were doing it. And no, it was not necessarily the high watermark of TV. But when you had Crash Holly knocking around with the Mean Street Posse, people like that the same way that people like R-Truth and what's going on with that title. But other than that, Brian, I really don't have any thoughts because they're exactly the same. The unfortunate part is the hardcore title was treated as an afterthought and a joke, and while the 24/7 title has kind of been treated that way, again, it actually has as much gravity as almost all of the other championships they have being defended combined.
All right, somebody give me a call. I'm going to try and fix this here, and then we'll find out if the phones are working or if we're going to give up on this interview coming up here today. This person wants to know what the creative team today could learn from watching the 24/7 title in the year 2000? Well, when people think of the 24/7 title, they only remember moments. Like, oh, Crash Holly went down a slide in a kid's thing. Or, whatever moment you remember. That's what WWE is nowadays. It's just a bunch of things happening. You watch the show and, well, this happened. You watch the show and like nothing plays in anything else. Just like a bunch of random stuff happens. Like, okay, why were Truth and Carmella dressed up as 1920s Hollywood stars in the audience at Raw? Can anyone explain that to me? Like, why did that happen? Well, there was no reason for it. It just happened. Because they were in California and someone said, hey, let's have them dress up like Charlie Chaplin and put him in the audience at Raw. And then we'll have dudes come out and chase him, okay?
What 20-star was R-Truth?
This is the lowest level of bad, thoughtless writing that you can have. If you watch the stuff in the year 2000, like, there was a point to everything. Like, I just retweeted on Twitter. They did a great one 19 years ago this week with Patterson and Briscoe stealing the title from Crash Holly, and then Briscoe and Patterson have always been best friends. And of course, Patterson turns on Briscoe, and he's just they're so great, and he beats him and he wins the title. It's such a different level of creativity and everything about it was so much better than today. You have to. If you're going to have a title that's a 24/7 title, like, you got to put some thought into it. Like, real thought.
Especially when it's not the first time.
Let's build to this, to build to this. Okay, they're probably going to do something good because I expect that Drake Maverick's going to get married with the belt around his waist and Truth is going to pin him during his wedding, okay? At least that built off what happened this week. That's at least something where you can figure out where it went from the week before. But a lot of this stuff is just like stupid stuff. Like, oh, Truth runs under the ring, and oh, ha, 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 Titus O'Neil's under the ring.
Sight gags.
Because he slid under the ring a year ago in Saudi Arabia. Like, it's just stupid. It's stupid. And this guy here goes, the 24/7 stuff gets the most views on YouTube. It's over and prestigious. No, it's not. Get out of here. Are you kidding me?
Well, for some people, maybe it is. Maybe that's just where they're at, which, again, is not good for all of your other titles that don't seem to matter. But again, like, is this entertaining? Yes, it is. In a way, it absolutely is. Do I like seeing Drake Maverick and R-Truth be fools? Yeah, actually, I do kind of enjoy that. And I think there's a place for it. To be so heavy-handed with it, and again, like you said, too, this is not a new concept. We've already seen all of this stuff before. How do you update it and make it better? They haven't really yet.
Don't even update it. Just make it right. All right, we got to head to the phones. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. No more phones and no interview today. The phones are all messed up. I don't know what's going on.
Boy, thanks for coming back.
I come home and everything is just off the rails, as always. You were in charge yesterday. This is your fault.
Great. Nah, everything was fine. Don't put that on Dom.
All right, so here's the lineup for Fyter Fest, Daytona Beach, Florida. Ocean Center, Saturday, June 29th, free on Bleacher Report Live. You just have to sign up. It's a free sign-up. I heard it was very simple. And available on Fight TV outside of the U.S., the UK, and Ireland.
I heard an estimated 1.7 million people are going to sign up for it.
That's what you're estimating?
I don't know. I've heard that. Maybe I'm a low estimate.
1.7 million people?
I have no. What did Mike Tenay say?
He's predicted 450.
He's a Vegas guy. See, there's where I'm putting stock in Mike Tenay as number one.
Well, that's not 1.7 million, dude.
Well, I know. This is a free sign-up, so that's number one, first and foremost. I mean, it's free, so... unless you don't want to give up your email address, I don't think you can complain about the price. So I'm sure they're going to get a lot of people that way. But, I guess... I don't know. I still don't know if whatever the sign-up is, that's going to be a grand indication of anything. I mean, they are advertising this everywhere. It is something where, sports fans are, semi-aware of it if you already listen to Dan Patrick, which we're on, by the way, on Dan Patrick Radio on Sundays on Sirius XM. But, the Rich Eisen show, they have other things on there, including soccer, which I'm sure, I'm not sure if Dom has signed up being a big soccer fan. But, I don't know if even when we get those numbers, if we're going to be able to extrapolate a whole lot out of them, specifically when it comes to AEW.
Okay, here's
the only thing I
thoughts.
really care about is going to be how many people were watching the stream. I don't care who signed up for it. I don't care about any of that nonsense. No spin with that stuff. Just how many people were watching. That's all that really matters.
All right, so here's the deal. This is what, when people talk about, oh, it's free, okay? Listen, I hope they do 500,000 signups. I hope they do 1 million signups. I hope they do 10 million signups. But last week, being the elite, 290,000 views. Now, that does not mean 290,000 people watched it. That's 290,000 views. So the show is 17 minutes long. So if you turn it on and you watch half of it, and then you go do something else, and you come back later and watch the second half, that's 2 views. If you are watching something else and it auto-plays, and then you shut it off, that's a view. A view doesn't mean one individual person watched the entire thing. So, at the absolute most, absolutely free, with no requirement to sign up, Being the Elite did, at the absolute positive most, 290,000 people. And the real number is much lower than that, because as noted, a view is not a person watching the entire thing. So, when I see that right there is absolutely free, there's no sign-up required, I Googled Being the Elite on Google, and it took me right there. I didn't have to do anything else. I mean, to me, expecting 450,000 signups or 1 million signups or whatever, it seems like that's high. I'm not at all saying that I don't think that's possible or that I think it's crazy. I mean, I think it is a little crazy, but I could be wrong. But just because it's free doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get like 1 million signups, because Being the Elite is free, and they average around 250, 300,000 views, which is not individual people. So we'll see. I don't think that whatever the number is necessarily a big positive or a negative. Obviously, if the number's very high, it's a big positive. And honestly, if the number's low, I don't think that's a huge negative. I think it just is what it is. It is like I said, the all-out show sold out instantly. These secondary shows are not selling out instantly. So I don't think it's like the end of the world if one of the secondary shows doesn't do massive business. It's fine.
I think maybe because there's already been such an extrapolation coming off of fuzzy numbers in some cases that I'm not looking forward to, man, guess what their potential audience is because X amount of people signed up, or the X amount of people in their potential vault/pay-per-view universe. It's like, okay, all I want to know is how many people watched the stream? That's it, and that's all. It's like the pay-per-view number. It's like how many people watched? That's it. Any other playing with the numbers? I mean, let's let this thing go on a little bit first and try to figure out where they're at.
Okay,
I'm tired of dealing with these numbers already.
All right, their potential audience, everyone, is 327 million people. I don't think that's what they're going to do, and we'll find out what they do the day after they do it.
100% share.
Here's the lineup. Did I ever go over the lineup? Young Bucks and Kenny Omega versus the Lucha Brothers and the Laredo Kid. Jon Moxley, Joey Janela, which should be insane. Cody Rhodes, Darby Allin, which is fascinating to me. Two completely different workers squaring off here. Hangman Page versus MJF versus Jimmy Havoc versus Jungle Boy, which should be fun. Nyla Rose, Rio, and Yuka Sakazaki in a 3-way. Chris Daniels versus Shima. And in the pre-show matches, we have the CEO Fighting Game Championships organizer Alex Jabali versus Michael Nakazawa in a hardcore match, as well as the Best Friends, SoCal Uncensored, and Private Party in a 3-way, both of those on the pre-show.
Yeah,
also was told to mention, Mike,
yes,
I was told to mention that they are not doing a tag team tournament on any given show. There is a match that will determine who gets a bye in the tag team tournament. The tag team tournament's taking place on TV this fall. Yes. That's the plan.
Yes, that is the case. And okay, I didn't know it was taking place on TV. I thought it was going to be on the pay-per-view. So, well, good. I guess if you got a pull for the TV show, there it is, and they're going to be obviously focusing a lot of attention on the tag team division. So, yay! That regardless of anything there, I mean, the return of tag team wrestling, or at least the threat of it, makes me very, very happy.
Alrighty, so this person here says, I don't watch the weekly TV, so correct me if I'm wrong. Well, you'll be pleased to know you're not wrong. Isn't Corbin selecting the ref? If so, why would he pick Lesnar, who could just cash in on Corbin or Rollins after the match? That's a great question.
Well,
you're probably thinking more than they are.
That's true, but I think the easiest way to play that is nobody wants to be the referee, and everybody that has agreed to be the referee has been laid out with a steel chair. So I think if you wanted to try to jerk in that direction, there it is. He's so desperate, he cuts a deal with Paul that Brock is the ref, and you could go from there if you wanted to have Brock screw him or whatever you wanted to do. But again, you got Brock Lesnar as a special guest referee in a match that, I mean, come on. It's like, I don't know. It just seems like a waste of Brock Lesnar, certainly.
Person says, I don't watch Being the Elite, but I watch Double or Nothing and All In. Great. I'm sure plenty of people did that. And like I said, 290,000 wasn't 290,000 people. So if only 40% of that number were actual people, then you got 40% that don't watch Being the Elite, you still only get 290,000. Must I do math here on the air? That's the worst thing for listeners.
Please, no.
And me.
No.
All right, this person here says, everyone's asking about Brock as the referee. Why would it make sense? Well, nothing they do makes sense, so. All right, this person says, people asking about the Filthy Show. Well, the Filthy Show is back today. And no, we have not gone to Golden Corral yet. And no, I'm not going to go today. But I'll see what I can do. I got a lot of things I'm working on with Filthy Tom. I got some ideas.
Apparently diarrhea if you're going to Golden Corral.
Do you realize that 1 year ago, I returned to the ring solely so that I could team with Filthy Tom Lawler? We teamed one time and never again. I've had nothing but singles matches or matches with other partners. I want a match with Filthy Tom Lawler as my partner. And I've got some things in the works, everybody. I know that like 2 weeks ago I said I was ready to retire. But us fighters heal faster than normal men. And I'm feeling pretty damn good right now. So stay tuned, everybody. Just stay tuned. Got it? Okay, thank you.
Can you do me a favor? Can you do some upper body work on your shoulders so like you can actually like maybe, hold up your end of the deal this time around with them?
Have I ever muted you like I used to mute Vinny?
Yes.
This person here says, I live in Tacoma. I will not be going. The card does not interest me, and I don't expect anything of note to happen. Well, I mean, something of note's going to happen. Whether it's positive or negative, I don't know, but something always happens. This person here says, if WWE ever wins an Emmy, it won't be for writing. It'll be for something like video production for the pre-produced video packages. Listen, if I found out that WWE was in the running for an Emmy for some of the stuff that they put on the WWE Network, I'd be, like, totally okay with that. In fact, I think there's some stuff that they put on the WWE Network that is so good by any standard. But they're talking Raw. Get out of town.
Yeah.
Who will have a worse G1, this person says? Yano or Fale? I think Fale.
I don't know. They've done a pretty good job protecting him. It's going to be a little tougher this year, the way that things, to me, kind of look on paper, but I still think he ends up with more points at the end of the day than Yano does.
Oh, man. I may have bad news here. I'm trying to follow up on it, but...
What?
Like
real bad news or like,
hold on.
Bad news?
Hold on. Wrestling bad news. Hold on. Yep. It's from ICW. We are heartbroken to learn of the tragic death of ICW World Heavyweight Champion Adrian Lionheart McCallum. He was a mainstay of ICW and British professional wrestling. Most importantly, he was our friend. His passing leaves a huge hole in the lives of those who knew him. I was very worried about that, actually, because somebody had sent me a tweet that he sent out yesterday, and it didn't sound good. But a lot of times you see these weird tweets, and everything turns out fine. But yesterday, 13 hours ago, he wrote, one day you will eat your last meal. You will smell your last flower. You will hug your friend for the last time. You might not know it's the last time. That's why you must do everything you love with passion. Hashtag afterlife. So there you go. I guess we'll let you know more when we know more, but that just came out moments ago. So very sorry to hear that. All right. This person here says, any update on the WWE 2K announcement I saw somewhere next Monday? I don't know, but this is the time of the year that, I think this is the time of the year that they normally announce who the cover star will be, which is almost always a story. Although I don't know who else they could get this year that WWE...
Why is it always a story?
Well, because they got the Warrior who WWE was having out with. They got Bruno who WWE...
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, as far as being characters, I thought you meant because I remember Seth Rollins being the poster boy. Some people were baffled by that. It's I mean, if you look at what those games, I mean, if you look at the Target demo, it's actually Seth Rollins makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? I can see why you'd make a case for somebody else, but I remember that was a thing, and it's I still never really understood that.
Yep, more here on Lionheart. This story sucks. Please respect his family's privacy at this time. ICW tweeted, please respect his family's privacy all the time, everybody.
Yeah, really.
All right, this person here... Actually, we had a little bit more news. Let's do a little bit more news here. WWE and Netflix. So, actually, I want to say one other positive thing here. And that is that last night on Smackdown, they did a moment of bliss with Bayley and Alexa. It was freaking great. It was the best women's segment that I've seen. I can't even tell you the last time. Normally, the women are so catty and they're so unlikable, and I just watch it and go, dude, if I were a woman, I would never watch this show. This is not how women act in the real world. This here actually felt like two women in the real world. One woman who felt she was wronged, the other woman who felt she was a liar. They both played their roles to perfection. It was awesome. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Back in a moment, Observer Live. All right, two things here. First off, this person here claims, I don't know if this is true, but I hope it's true. He says, a buddy of mine works at the Amway Center in Orlando, where Donald Trump held a campaign rally last night, and he was able to start a CM Punk chant. That's awesome.
What? What?
You got it. And one other thing, I got to address this
C-SPAN.
real quick. This person here says, this is Tim. Kofi Kingston won 17 consecutive televised matches, is unbeaten in his last 44 matches since WrestleMania. Just sad about the fact that you wanted him to take the pin from Corbin of all people on Raw. Shame. Listen, if I have to come up with a stupid idea because their idea is stupider, that's not on me, okay? I would never have even put that stupid match together. But if you're doing that six-man match, Baron Corbin is supposed to be challenging for the title on Sunday. Nobody cares. He's not over. He's as weak a champion as a weak champion can be. And if I'm doing a wrestling promotion and I want to sell tickets to the damn show, and I want to give this guy credibility, then he should have pinned the SmackDown champion, so then he can go on to face the Raw champion at the pay-per-view. Yes, they've done a great job with Kofi. One loss to Corbin is not going to kill Kofi Kingston. After Seth beats Corbin, Kofi can have a match with Corbin, and Kofi can beat Corbin. It's not the damn end of the world. But having Corbin go in there as a weak champion that nobody cares about one bit, no one's buying tickets to see, and nobody cares at all about this show, and then he goes in there and he loses that match, that is way dumber than Kofi Kingston losing to Baron Corbin on that night. Match shouldn't have ever been put together. All right, we're out of time, everybody. I've ranted sufficiently. I'll be back later today with Filthy. He'll be back on video at video.f4wonline.com. This show up at video.f4wonline.com. Want to thank Mike, as always, especially for the work yesterday. Callers and listeners, everybody to the studio. My main man, Dom. We'll talk to you again next time. Wrestling Observer Live.